First year he made profit the first day he started. And he was very well known in the area because he was a great tech with computers. And he did that for about a year and a half, and then he got bored with that. Like he wanted to move on, and then he worked as a manager at Godiva Chocolates, and he did that for quite a long while. And really, at that time in his life, I thought that he had outgrown a lot of what had happened in his teenage years. He seemed really normal, life was good, and I thought, I got my Josh back, and everything's great. In 2005, January 2005, my younger son, Zach, came down with cancer, osteosarcoma cancer, and which is very serious. As a matter of fact, they only gave about a 35% chance of survival. And we were very tight family, very close family, and so Josh would come around, but not as much as he used to, and we were concerned about that. Just 4 months after that, my husband, who I remarried, by the way, divorced their biological dad, remarried, and he came down with Lou Gehrig's disease 4 months later. So with these two things happening, it seemed as though that might be why Josh wasn't coming around, but we just knew something was not right with him. We just knew something wasn't. We'd meet him often, when I say often, maybe once a month for dinner, and one time I remember in particular that he was sweating, and I couldn't figure out. And this is the thing I want to talk about today, because I had no background in drugs, and I think as parents, none of us really do. I think that it's not taught to us the way it should be. And I've talked to a lot of parents who basically feel the same way about that as I do, which I will go into more in just a bit. So anyway, Josh in 2006, December 2006, was arrested and put in jail. What he was doing was selling computers on eBay, but he wasn't delivering them. That is a federal offense. He had like 6 felonies and 1 misdemeanor against him. They arrested him and put him in jail. I found out from a friend of his who he's staying at that he actually shot with heroin right before he went in to jail. And I guess the syringe was right on the floor. The police officer didn't say anything. So I found out the next day. Josh was trying to get a hold of me that whole day. Come on, Mom, post bail, post bail, post bail. And I'm thinking, no, I'm not posting bail. You need to learn, you know. We did a lot of tough love with Josh when he was growing up. So basically, he spent 30 days in jail. And like I was saying, I found out that he'd been using heroin like the day after he was arrested. And his friend brought over like a big, huge garbage bag full of needles, syringes, prescription bottles, electrical wiring to tie his arm with, spoons, all the paraphernalia for using heroin. I was really scared. You know, I wasn't scared about Josh being in jail. I thought that's where he needed to be. But I was scared because I was addicted to heroin. Even though I didn't have the education about heroin, I did know about heroin when I was in high school. It was being used back then. Josh spent 30 days in jail, and plea bargain, got out of jail with 1 felony, moved back home with us. As a matter of fact, the night that he got out of jail, my younger son had cooked a spaghetti dinner. I was really happy to pick him up and bring him home. In the meantime, we had been talking back and forth while he was in jail, and I just saw him becoming that young man that I once knew. And so we were having dinner, and we spoke for probably 3-4 hours, and Josh wanted to get everything off his chest about what had happened. He said, you know, Mom, when I was in high school, I started using LSD a couple times. Early 20s, I tried cocaine, but I didn't like it because it made me too anxious. And then he said I started using opiates. And he said, Mom, it was so great because it could take my feelings away, and I didn't have to feel. So I found out Josh had been using opiates for quite some time, recreationally first. And then he ran out of money and had to start using heroin. Just before this happened. The way that he was getting his opiates was on the internet. And I actually have on the table over here a prescription, and it kind of says if you want to look at it, how he did it. It's a prescription, and there's a lot of places on the internet, and they want the money. They don't care about the individuals using. They want the money for drugs. So unfortunately, that's where he got a lot of his drugs to begin with. And he was up to the point of using or eating, he would chew them, 25 pills a day of hydrocodone. That's a lot. After he ran out of money, he said he started using the heroin. Supposedly that he had only used for about 3 months, but he was hooked. And I remember the thing that he kept telling me the most when he got out of jail was, Mom, you need to learn about heroin. You need to learn. He kept telling me that. Well, at the dinner table, we spoke about all of that, and then he said, there's more I need to tell you. And I said, Josh, tell me. Wait, what do you want to tell me? I can't. He said, no, you can tell me anything. You can tell me anything you want. I'm open for it. Please talk to me. You can tell me. Mom, you don't get it. I can't tell you. I now know what that was about. I now know that he probably knew he may not make it. He knew that he was hooked on heroin, and he knew that it was going to be a long road for him. I look back at that now, and I realize that. I want to read to you, actually on the website projectjosh.org is a whole letter that Josh wrote about when he was using and what it was like. And it's right from his heart. And it's really, he really says what it was like. And it really helped me understand what it must have been like for him and how much pain he was in. But this is what he talks about when he first started using opiates. I close my eyes and think. I usually do not like to think about what I've become. But sometimes in the mornings when I'm alone and the pills have taken effect, my mind drifts to it, and I actually can think about it for a few minutes without pushing it far away. To be honest, I'm not really thinking precisely about anything negative, just back to when I discovered how I felt about these pills. One of the most splendid memories I have is when I first took these. It was a beautiful night. It had rained earlier and it smelled wonderful. It was 10 or 11 o'clock at night, and I was driving around in my small convertible, letting the wind whip around me. I took just 2 of these pills right before I left, and I'm overpowered with emotion. I feel better than I ever have. Nothing could have harmed me that night. I was in love. From that wonderful experience, it actually took me almost 7 years to change. For months, I would go without my beloved pills, and I would be fine. Then, on the evening of a beautiful 4th of July, I found that nothing was holding me back from my love. Sure, it might take me a whole day to obtain some. But wouldn't you spend a meager 8 hours to spend the night with your true love? The stupidest part of this whole thing is that on this 4th of July, I had everything in the world I could ask for. I had her, the car I wanted, a great family. I would drive my car and think how lucky I am. But much like the first night, which on its own was beautiful, I found that nothing in life is as good as when I didn't have my pills. So even though I had everything, I started the long, painful process of letting it go without the knowledge I was doing so. I think that says a lot right there. I mean, you know, it took him several years before he got to the point that he got to. And once you get to heroin, it's very serious. I'm going to tell you now about how Josh died. I'm going to talk to you about after he moved back in. He was clean for 89 days, going to AA meetings, and he was working really, really hard. He went up to CU in Boulder. He'd been trying to get a hold of his girlfriend. They both were actually arrested with the E-Day situation, and he was trying to get her off because she was in school, and he didn't want her to get kicked out of school. So he had gone up to the university to talk to someone about that, and had seen her. And she wouldn't even look at him when she drove away. That's the night he went and bought heroin. I'm not saying that's her fault. It wasn't her fault. You know, I mean, Josh had an addiction. Josh couldn't handle what was happening, and anytime he felt pain, that's what he's going to do. He's going to go back and use. It's going to trigger that inside of him. He never knew that his girlfriend had circled back around to see him. He never knew that before he died. But on this particular evening, he called me, panicking, wondering where his money was, and I hadn't taken his money, but he couldn't find his money. He had just gotten a job. He said, "Did you take my money?" And I said, "No, I wasn't home. Wait till I get home, I'll talk to you about it." He seemed and it was frightening to me because I knew that the way he was acting, that there was probably a possibility he might be wanting to use. So when I came home, he was gone. And then, when he came home, I could tell that he'd used. And again, the lying began. I didn't decide to use. That night, I was up really late, like 2 o'clock in the morning. And I've been trying to get him into treatment, but dealing with my husband who had ALS, that was round the clock, 24/7 care. It was really difficult. And all the treatment centers that I had contacted, which were very few in the area, wanted $30,000 to $40,000 a